and welcome to the Raw Review. We are the Dadley Boyz of WhatCulture. I'm Adam Wilborn, joined by Michael Hamflett and Michael Sidgwick, here to review everything that happened on last night's episode of But before we get into it, if you're a fan of this sort of thing, make sure you subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and YouTube, where we do daily wrestling podcasts where we not only review Raw, but also SmackDown, the show formerly known as NXT 2.0. We done about AEW Collision pay-per-views, premium live events. We have interviews, roundtable discussions, and a roundup that we complete with a very good quiz, of course, on WrestleCulture. As I said, though, joined by Hamflett and Sidgwick to review last night's Raw, the go-home show ahead of Bad Blood.
No, you said.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
You'd come up with a funny name or a way of doing it.
Bloop, 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 bloop. Bad Blood. This is dripping.
I asked, and I got it.
Blood thing with your hand. Bloop, 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 bloop. No,
I can spell blood with my
blood,
hands.
see
Leave
that?
it with me. Hang on, you tell me your thoughts on this
well
show.
said. We've learned quite a lot about the things you can do that we were surprised about today. There was a quiz that he's doing it.
You can see that? Spells blood.
And it's not very good, ergo bad blood.
There you go. Pretty good with the fingers, if you know what I mean. So,
Sidge, what does he mean?
He means he's got a digital penetration.
Thank you.
digital penetration.
Is that not like a network strategy where you're leaving linear cable? We're really keen on digital penetration in 2025. That's how Tony Khan's going to announce the new TV deal.
It's called.
We're happy with our digital penetration.
I was very happy with this show as well. Really enjoyed it.
It was all right. It's just all right. I got a high bar for Raw. I'm excited for next week's. They've done a good job of setting up next week's show.
2 hours as well.
Yeah. Forgot about that. It's a bit of a shame. But then I was going to fit all that.
I prayed for this and it happened.
Yeah, some good stuff. Just Bad Blood's been ready a few weeks.
Yeah.
So, let's get there.
I actually had some expectations on this Raw for two things in particular that I thought could be excellent. And they were not met, but I feel bad about not really enjoying that much one of them.
Okay.
Let's get into it then. We see everyone arriving for the show, slightly worried about Braun Strowman's dog as he was walking through ahead of the last monster standing match. And Joe Tessitore and Wade Barrett welcome us to the show. We get a great video package of Jey Uso beating Bron Breakker to become IC champ last week. Nice fan footage mixed in there as well. And then Jey Uso with his son makes the big entrance through the crowd, which was lovely. Lots of yeeting, pyro, and you deserve it chants. And Jey just sort of soaks it all in. Clearly, he's quite emotional here. Talks about this first singles championship victory. He'd fight every week for it against anyone who wants it. He loves the fans. He thanks them for having his back all these years. Appreciates being able to enter with the title and his son by his side. Talks about how hard the road's been for him. His family made it hard. Roman Reigns made it hard. He was just a twin for years. They didn't know him then, but they know him now. He takes off the yeet shades and talks about his biggest fan being his mum, who told him to go out there and show him who you are. Go out there and get it. And he says, I got it, Mum, and we did it. And he holds up the belt and everyone celebrates. And then he's interrupted, by Bron Breakker. But Bron says he's not out there to spoil the fun or crash the party. He respects the tile. He respects
the tile.
He respects Jey. And the battle last week says that one day Jey's the better man. He's not going to spear or attack him. He's simply there to congratulate him. He offers his hand. And Jey shakes it. And Bron goes to leave. Jey stops him and says, there's some dogs here in Indiana. And it's just a nice opening to the show. There was no sneak attack or anything.
And you should probably do stuff like this every now and then to remind your audience that you can be a nice place. WWE for years was not a nice place, regardless of what was happening behind the scenes. On screen, it just didn't feel like a nice place to be. And Jey Uso's victory last week was evidence that it can be. You've got all these over baby faces and you give them a nice moment. The fans want to just luxuriate in that.
Big surprise as well.
There's a thing I've noticed that WWE have done a lot this year as well. And it's that very on-the-nose, care about this instruction, 100-foot high letters. Jey Uso wins the title in the main event last week and he opens the show this week. The Yeet t-shirt is gold. It's like the belt has been upgraded. It looks gorgeous. Just they've made the globe blue. Blue globes on belts are goated. So it straight away, it was like, oh, that main event that felt special. Keep feeling like it's special. We've got his kid here. He's acknowledging his mum. It's what?
So your mind immediately goes, I've got your kid.
I've got your kids there. The whole thing is just, oh, you loved it last week. keep loving it. Like, this is a big star. It's what used to happen in the sort of the days of The Rock and Steve Austin. It's like the last thing you saw is the first thing you see. It's like that stuff does matter, and it does certainly like how for decades really like WWE fans have received stars. If you're being told that they matter, it's TV segments like this that get you there. And the Braun Breaker thing was quite heartwarming, and yet if it was all to set up a swerve turn, that's pretty cool. Like, Jey Uso's such a nice guy. He wants Braun to be able, there's mutual respect here. You, like, I'm loving getting these yeets. You get your dogs barking as well, and then if in 2 weeks Braun Breaker does something awful and spears him out of his shoes to cost him the belt or something, it'll play quite nicely.
Or it's a babyface turn for Braun. That works just as well, yeah.
Which is being sort of teased, given his interaction with somebody else deeper in the show. What makes Paul Levesque a very, very, very effective booker? He gets on base. He just does the things that you're meant to do. It's not always this incredibly intoxicating, energetic, exciting show, but, you know, he gets on base. He will do things like some of these long title reigns, and I use this turn of phrase in an article, part of our year-end content, coming to WhatCulture.com/WWE later in the year, where, yes, on the week-to-week experience of like one of these really long title reigns can sometimes feel a bit predictable or just there. But you'll remember the last 5 minutes of the WrestleMania 40 Intercontinental title match for the rest of your life. You'll never remember the September TV, but no one ever does, you know? And he knows how to get on base, and this is what I'm talking about. This was a very simple bit of TV that did sort of illuminate that Braun Breaker, having been humbled, kind of realizes, yeah, I've been humbled too much too soon. Maybe I need to just adjust my attitude. So it served a dual purpose in that he's basically saying, I'm going to turn babyface because I got too big for my own boots, essentially. But what you do by having it is you not only do that, but the idea that someone's won it and it means the world to them and their family, and someone's lost it, and it just puts over the impact of what a title match really achieves and what it should achieve and what it should mean. This doesn't play anywhere near as well if they don't hugely over-deliver last week, so you've got to have the talent to execute the playbook as well. This is genuinely really good stuff, really good stuff. I will say that the crowd is awful all night, and that line where Jay almost looked a bit sheepish saying, you know, there's some dogs here, and where were they?
Indiana, I believe.
What's the name of the arena, though?
The Pork Sword Center, I think it was.
Yeah.
I think it was.
Yeah.
Or Ford Center.
So that made a little bit of, I wouldn't say cringeworthy, but minorly awkward. Otherwise, in terms of execution, this is why the titles mean something. Yeah.
And also a nice, good touch as well in terms of the other stuff going on in this show. You're hammering home, this is my first singles title. When I did it for my mom, I've overcome all these obstacles. And then in 5 minutes' time, you've got Xavier Woods out there. And that's the story of this show and where we go from here as well.
It is. I know, like, I've sometimes probably overstated that matches don't matter. I accept that. However, with Jey Uso, if you lift the matches out while you're acknowledging that they're important, if you lift the matches out, this has been one of the best characters in WWE for over a year, easily. And all of this sort of stuff is earned. Like, we're past the point where it's like, oh, he gets the yeet, but it's just a catchphrase. The matches don't deliver. But like, no, people have built a really, really deep relationship with this character. Yes, the matches almost never sort of pay off that investment, but everything else does. You buy every bit of the story he's telling you has been fairly well told by WWE on screen, and you already know the real life stuff because you've just known him as a wrestler for, 14 years or something. So it's like, it is a very well invested in character, this one.
Jey Uso, for that matter, now that I come to think of it, is benefited from my weird theory that it's better to be really mediocre or outright bad for a long time and then do something incredible than it is to be at the 3-3 star level for all the time.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's very impressive to think at the start of October, main event Jey Uso is still main eventing when I think a lot of people would have thought, right, you do the Jimmy and Jay match, obviously does not go well at WrestleMania. Yes, you know, he's still popular, so you give him that number one contenders match on the Raw after Mania, or he wins that spot at least on the Raw after Mania. I guarantee if you'd said to people, right, but by the fall, what's he going to be doing? You'd be like, not.
It's booking as an art form if you can keep characters in that mix credibly, because there's a certain period where and everybody feels it, and sometimes you go into denial a little bit. It's like, the time's passed. And it's a feeling that you get, and the crowd start to react or stop reacting, and they haven't for him. Yeah, it's been managed well.
Liv and Dom are outside in their lowrider, or bite at least. I thought for a split second that's getting smashed later on. But Finn Balor's on the phone. He's taking care of something. See him all soon, but he's stuck somewhere. But he's on his way. He'll be there later, basically. And then it was time for Xavier Woods versus Rey Mysterio.
Oh my God!
First time ever.
Yeah,
I read that somewhere.
Yeah, I guess.
Didn't matter if it happened in the past. So.
They go to a break very early on after Ray hits a seated senton off the apron. When we come back, Ray's in control. Springboard moonsault, seated senton, springboard crossbody. Goes for the 619, sets up for it, and goes for it. Woods ducked, and then they sort of trade some counters, stumble a little bit, but they back into it, trading counters. And then Xavier Woods inadvertently, supposedly, rips off Rey Mysterio's masks. He's unmasked, and Ray covers his face, obviously, and Woods goes, still counts, rolls him up, 1, 2, 3. Crowd boo Woods, but he's like, hey, I didn't mean it. Ray's not happy with him, but Woods gets the win.
It's only because you're not used to seeing his face. There's a momentary, he looks like Darth Vader.
Yeah.
You know, it's the weirdest thing in the world. Sorry, go on.
No, it's we called this, didn't we? As like, if you look at the ways in which Xavier Woods could not cheat, but win and it not feel exactly on, this was the way to do it. And it's like the actual execution of it. You mentioned about them like stumbling into it. I wonder how much of that was worked by two like excellent pros, because that is what justifies Xavier Woods' argument that it was an accident. It's if he was like just grasping for something, when in reality what he's doing is unhooking the mask. You know, it's like, oh, I was just trying to grab a hold of you. We're just having a wrestling match, you know. And in that regard, it wasn't as quick and as awesome looking as the Jericho one, but it was probably second to it if you think the times that Ray's been unmasked. Because I like that everyone played their parts very well. Xavier Woods took just enough time to realise the situation he was in, grab the fall. Like, stealing one is fun again, because we don't see people stealing one every week, 5 times a show. So this was, and again, like, one of my worst sort of memories of, like, realistically a 20-year period, but certainly the last 5, was just that celebration on the ramp. And it would always be baby faces sat on the floor. Yeah, I did it. It's like, oh, well, there's the glory of victory dead.
Yeah.
Xavier Woods doing that was, that's what you should do when you're this character at this point in your story. He was a real bastard at various points this week, and I've quite enjoyed them not being as ambiguous with what you're supposed to think. I think it's like, I don't want the New Day to split up, but I am really, really like low-level angry with the choices Xavier Woods is making, and this was another one.
It was funny, to see him be like, oh no! I mean, he's still pinning the world champions.
Yeah.
Yeah, the actual action in the match ranged from mediocre to just there to rough. But the character development was pretty cool. I am into the story, and I do want a nice ending to it, a nice subverted way of doing the split, which I believe Ibu of Wrestle Purists has indicated is the way it's going to go.
Hope so.
We'll talk more about that in a second. Prior to that, Sonya Deville and Shayna Baszler, who's shuffling some cards, approach Lyra Valkyria.
Imagine, like, going through your hand luggage. Oh, God, I forgot my cards. I can't look sinister a bit on Raw. I can't try to look, you know, it's pathetic. It is, isn't it?
I forgot my cards. It's like, it's Nigel McGuinness's worst nightmare.
Yeah.
But anyway, Sonya Deville says...
I love magic. Oh, my God. You don't like magic, do you?
Not really.
I love that. It's magic. So you like magic.
Magicians themselves give me the ick. Nigel McGuinness doing is like, I've got a few tricks. I didn't ask for them.
Like, I love magic.
This is unsolicited table entertainment. I don't wish for it.
Yeah, I'd like
David
watching
Blaine back in the day, the Street Magic one that he did on Channel 4 or
yeah,
whatever.
Dynamo. Good. Yeah. Right, Mike, there's a new one added to the list, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, we might be able to play the game. Hang on. So if you don't know, if you're new to this, congratulations on making it this far.
It's like the WWE thing, isn't it? Previously on this podcast. Like, we might have a new listener reviewer today.
Exactly.
Never listened before.
Michael Hamflet, I'm just giving some context.
Yeah.
First.
I'm ready.
Michael Hamflet is this weird, he's a weird guy. He has this weird thing where the best things in life he hates. Doesn't like Christmas.
Yeah.
Doesn't like magic.
No.
Doesn't like really good cuisine.
Magicians more than magic.
Okay.
I admire the ability to like perform that, but magicians are weird.
Okay. Magicians, Christmas, international football tournaments despite enduring, is the word for him, club football. And then we got a new addition
Dogs.
to...
Sorry, just...
Dogs, man's best friend.
Man's
And
scariest
there's-
enemy.
Condiments.
Condiments.
Like condiments. And there's a new addition to the list.
It's time to play the game! Time to play the game! Ha 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 ha!
What goated thing does Hamlet hate now? That was a revelation this morning.
This morning.
And I've forgotten, so I'm hoping you can remember.
Oh, it wasn't that I hated it.
Okay, you know what it is.
Yeah.
Right, you guess. It's goated, isn't it? Other people think it's goated.
Yes. This is why this is such a great relationship, because we never stop surprising each other.
That's true. I was like, what?
It's not going to be something like pop music.
You kind of stumbled into something there.
Yeah. It's wrestling related.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I cannot believe it.
Pop music / wrestling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, genre.
Is it a specific theme or no? Oh. A pop. Oh. No, that's not pop music. I was going to say "Rolling" for the Undertaker. I mean, never.
Well, it's not. It's like rock, really.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it was very popular.
It was extremely popular.
Seven Nation Army for Pat McAfee.
No. I had a realization. You know that sort of thing where, like, guys, I think you find
Bear in mind, it's Dr. Fed.
Yeah.
It's Dr. Fed saying this.
Tippy Top.
Possibly the most famous entrance theme of all time.
I think that's reasonable. Yeah.
One of, if not the biggest stars ever in pro wrestling.
I discovered today. I
Was this talking about Hogan yesterday?
Yeah.
He says across the desks earlier today, Dr. Fed, the Silver Vision Coliseum video, kind of better in 88, 89 and 1990 for that period rather than the actual money years and the important years.
Yeah.
The glistening muscles, Mike. Felt something for Real American for the first time at the age of 39 years old.
True.
What?
I discovered this new indie hit. It's called Real American by Rick Derringer. You need to check it out. I was just, that's quite good, isn't it, Sige?
And I've got a point to make. So we want to always say we only ever want to put over Hulk Hogan by accident because, he's a piece of trash.
Yes.
Obviously, right? Real American. But that segues into another really good point. Real American as a theme is so unbelievably goated that whenever you hear it, you kind of temporarily lose yourself and then think, oh, crap, no, I don't want to like him.
Yeah.
It just literally overtakes and overwhelms you. It's the oral translation of triumph of like the best kind of cheese, which is halloumi.
Kraft cheese slices. Plastic.
What's your favorite cheese?
I'm just a bit of a basic bitch of like cheddar or red Leicester, to be honest.
It's a good melter, Red Leicester, when you're making burgers. It's a good melter.
I like that cheese that comes in the shape of a sausage at Christmas. That's not a bit. What's that called? You know the one about that.
I know, I do know it. I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah. Take me through this then. So you're 6 years old.
Yeah.
You've got WrestleMania 6, you got SummerSlam 1989.
Oh, God, it was better. Yeah. Never got better.
Right, but what? So you heard Real American and you just went, yeah.
Oh, the Warrior kicks his fucking ass.
Oh, yeah, he's a Warrior guy.
I thought Hogan stunk. I never liked Hogan. The most I liked Hulk Hogan was seeing him live in TNA in 2011. What turned out to be his last match, by the way, was a shoot in some red Adidas trousers. And I was like, oh, Jesus Christ, he's done all three sides of the ring, but he's not on our side. I want to scream at him, and he's not put his hand. I was like, I get it.
Is he going to get to us?
I get it. And then obviously, within a few years of that, I was like, well, I have my time with Hogan. He can go off.
So WrestleMania 6 was your entry point, correct?
Rumble 1990.
Yeah. So you like the idea of, that guy's about to overtake this guy.
Yeah.
So you watched WrestleMania 7 and just you thought, it's Hogan, I'll just switch it off. Or what do you do?
I just felt nothing either way. I was just like,
Dr. Fed!
It was a Hogan thing. I just had a real disconnect with Hogan. I loved, on that show, so my memories of watching that as a kid are wore the tape out on Savage Warrior. Like I was like, oh my god.
I mean, that's the one
long
that
matches are
affected me
goated
the most.
actually, but it's like it didn't feel long. I never wanted it to end, and
Yeah.
then Savage is hitting all the elbows and all that sort of
I
stuff.
mean, even at that young age, I knew that was the best match.
Yeah. I had, and like I really was like I think like the Legion of Doom and the Heart Foundation colours, matching attire, like goated stuff.
Second attire.
A second attire. Like it was just. I don't want to say I was like an early Brett guy because I think that'd be a lie. You had your favourite, and they were.
Mine was Jannetty.
They were the main event because they were at the top of the card and they were the biggest. But yeah, as soon as Warrior was gone and Brett was like 92, Brett. Like as soon as Warrior disappeared all over again. Well, great because Brett's the world champion. That's handy because he's my favourite. When in reality, the booking had told me to have him as a favourite. Yeah, just a hug and then
Another one to add to the list.
active anger at WrestleMania 9.
Yeah.
So it was just like
that's but real American.
I know. I got it today.
Today?
I listened
Is
to it. I
this
was
because
like,
Ewan's becoming a Fed fan now?
it was on a video. It was on a video package on a tweet I saw. That's one of my favourite old wrestling memes, which is somebody clipping together Rey Mysterio winning the belt and then Cena battering him and taking it off him. And they'd set it to Real American, you know, that Raw. And
Congratulations. For 10 minutes.
like you see, like Ray getting like covered in champagne and all that with all the boys, and he's I am a real and then he's straight into Cena, and then they show the lockup where Cena just pushes him into the post, and then they re-edit it so it looks like he's won the title. He shakes his hand and pulls him for the FU again, and it's like the proto version of the TNA one that's done the rounds lately. Like Chris Jericho's got a different plan, and they'll play the TNA Hogan music. It's that, and I was just like, why do I keep looping this video? It's the song. Sid, have you heard this?
You heard this song?
Light Nights is another one. Not a big fan of it. I like it when you get dark nights and dark mornings.
Yeah, he hates when the clocks go.
A bit less daylight, I think, is where I'm at.
Same.
Before I
I
had
like being inside.
before I had children and doing like sunshine outdoor activities, that's the best stuff. I was very much an autumn guy before I had like responsibilities and
Yeah, it's rooted in a bit of resentment. I resent people in beer gardens in the summer.
aesthetically and atmospheric.
Resent people. Yeah,
I used to
time
be-
on the hands, life on the hands, choices they can make.
I used to be an autumn person. I'm now summer yacht rock dude now.
I like it about
on the
now.
yacht.
I would say I'd like it now, but I don't like people getting really jazzed for Halloween. So even this has got like
Tempered.
I think people make too much of a fuss about 90% of things, and I include Halloween. I just think
I'd rather have Thanksgiving than Halloween.
Yeah.
Far better.
big dinner, innit? Like
Yeah.
Have a big dinner whenever you want.
Yeah, but then like
But football.
I mean, you have a big dinner most days by the sounds of things.
Big,
I mean, where's the line?
when you say big dinner, I picture like a
Just
giant
rapid volume,
roast,
not like pageantry and showmanship and occasion and sentiment. Just big bread.
Yeah, I was going to
Big
say,
bread.
when you say it, I'm picturing like a giant roast turkey
Yeah.
with steaming with vegetables. It's just ripping out the centre of it.
I am in service to
Lift up the cloche.
I'm in service to the fat cats at Big Bread. That is I spread the message of Big Bread. I think you're not going to like this, Sidge, but you're going to expect it. I think, as usual, I want the things to exist in WWE. So where do I want my ceremony? Not Christmas, not Halloween, not like, I don't know, any special occasion that might mean a lot to you. WrestleMania. That's where like, I don't like bonfire night, but I best get pyro at a wrestling show, man.
Yeah.
It's that sort of stuff. It's like, it belongs in the world that I wish to inhabit, which is this one all the time.
I've just realised this show's 3 hours long. Let's get on.
And we're still in the
Let's
midst
get
of-
on.
Sonia Deville says to Lyra Valkyrie,
Might
you're
get
on
to-
your own tonight.
Might get to 4 in the Netflix era, just once. Imagine a 1 hour overrun because an Iron Man match. It starts.
Don't do it. He'll
third hour,
quit.
it's like,
So yeah,
they could do what they want.
Sonia says to Lyra Valkyrie, you're on your own tonight. There's no Zelina Vega. There's no Natalia. Oh, sorry.
What button were you
I
going
thought I was going to play Bret Hart's music. Must not be working
I
again.
love that theme. It's one of my all-time favourites. Press it.
Bloody, he's playing up, typical. Deville says, don't worry about Shayna Baszler. She doesn't bite unless I tell her to.
She gave the instruction in the vampire segment with Becky Lynch.
That was just after Elimination Chamber.
Just before, dickhead.
Oh, bollocks, yeah. It was
Yeah,
after
just
the Rumble, yeah. It was on the road to, sorry, what I meant to say, it was on the road to a really big... big fiery logo for the Viking Raiders. It's definitely not Ray Phoenix and Penta, judging by what's gone on recently.
Yeah.
And then Kofi Kingston comes up to Xavier Woods and goes, you take his mask off on purpose. And it's like, no, I respect Ray, he's the best. I thought you'd be here to congratulate me, dickhead. Kingston said, look, I'm happy you won. You beat a former world champion. And good news, Jey Uso's offered me an IC title shot next week. And I thought, Kofi, what are you doing, mate? And Woods was like, oh, great, I can stand by your side again and watch you climb the mountain. He says, no. I said, no, I don't want to. Give it to Xavier instead. And Jay's accepted you got a title shot next week. Woods was like, oh, sorry for being a bit of a dickhead, actually. I'm looking forward to it. Let's go kick, I'll be out there and kick American Maid's ass when you face Chad Gable later. And Karrion Kross is just lurking in the background.
Facial expressions later were magnificent.
What a night for him. Yet again, like all of his brilliant plans. Winning matches lately, as I said, my brilliant plans. Woods was a real bastard here.
Yeah.
A real bastard until... they've just laid it on really thick about Kofi being the nicest. Why in a million years, if Kofi Kingston was your best friend, would you ever want to do anything but nurture that? Yeah. And this was a nice illustration of that.
Thanks very much. So I've won a match and you get a title shot. No, it's yours. Oh, okay, sorry, yeah. Thanks, mate. I love that when he just overreacts completely.
Brilliant.
Awesome stuff. Then we got Zoe Stark versus Lyra Valkyria.
He'd left the old scape.
Yeah.
Would have been a candidate.
It goes to break after a Valkyria dropkick through the ropes.
I feel like it was a rodent problem in building all goddamn night since you got to say.
An infestation.
Valkyria, when we come back, reverses a Z360 into a German suplex, but Shayna Baszler jumps up on the apron to distract the referee. Valkyria's got it won with a cradle, but only gets a 2 once the referee turns around, and the kick out sends Valkyria into the ropes where Sonya Deville hits her with a knee strike. Stark even hits the Z.
Zark.
It's the Z360 for the 1-2-3. And they beat her down after the match. But Kaden Carter and Katana Chance run out to make the save and hit Baszler and Deville with the keg stand.
Yay!
Who gives a Seriously, I would have been having to talk about this across the desks. I just completely forgot that they existed. Missed them, not one iota. And I would, if they just quietly were just dropped off TV or whatever, I think someone would have to remind me that they existed before I ever would in a million years. I could go the rest of my life until I'm cold and dead in the ground, or preferably in a vase.
In a vase?
Or like an urn or whatever. Basically, I want to be cremated.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I don't care what people do with my ashes. I'm not alive, so I can do what I want. Chuck them in the bin. Just take it. Vases take up space. This is what we were talking about.
But like it's space in someone's home.
Crisp packet, yes.
Not like land. You know, keep us on the shelf or something. Lording above you one more time.
On a line state so people can come and
sign it like a book.
Come and kiss my feet.
Put your favourite catchphrase in the book.
What do you want to be dressed in then?
Ooh.
Yeah, little NWO shirt.
Yeah.
For the quizzes.
I'd say a red fedora and a big coat would be a lovely way to...
That's nice.
After this, Katana Chance and Ken Carter... Sorry, I'm just checking my notes here, Siege. All the women had a big row backstage. Isla Dawn and Alba Fyre said, we should be number one contenders actually for the tag titles or whatever.
There are not many things at the moment, and for quite a while actually, that SmackDown consistently does better than Raw. But the the women's division has somehow become one. On SmackDown, there are 3 concurrent women's feuds. Only one of them over the title. 2 of them actually about issues, like Bayley and Naomi are building something. This Meechin, Chelsea Green thing has been an achievement, quite frankly. Chelsea Green's awesome. What a difference maker. These aren't characters that you can relate to or identify with in any way. Like Lyra Valkyria was the closest because they kind of ran her story with Ilya Dragunov as they've both arrived on Raw. They both want to make a mark, and like there's bigger names that you already know that have a bit of mutual respect or a bit of history with them. Really see them go. Started the year like strong enough to get that Nia Jax match with that awesome Annihilator finish. Where it was genuinely, who's going to win this? The person that wins might win the women's title on their show. She's just got lost in this fog of characterless, like identity-free, like sort of like women's wrestlers. That's what they all are, is bloody women's wrestlers going out there and having their very, very basic match. And that is a criticism because the good matches are the likes of your Io and Bianca thing that kind of then expose that these matches aren't hot enough to justify them having no persona to speak of. It's a problem.
This was, you could eat a red piss on Canton.
Not good. In amongst all this, Adam Pearce yells at security to keep the last monster standing match in the ring. Good luck with that. And CM Punk walks by as well. And then, we go out to the ring, and they've got a Hell in a Cell out there. It gets lowered around the ring whilst Pearce is in there with security guards.
Silver. Where is my red cell?
My issue was, idiots! Are they going to be in that on Sunday or Saturday, whatever the frig it is?
Postman Pearce talks about how he prides himself on delivering...
Do you, as a shoot, prefer the red cell?
I really liked it.
I always hated it.
It's so funny to look at. Like, jumping ahead a bit here, right? I don't know if I prefer the red cell. I like both cells, but I really did like the red cell. It was just, look at a hideous thing. So, like, you kind of constantly staring at it. This was fine. I don't want to jump ahead. I'm watching this going, like, the bracelet stuff was better. Off everybody that disagrees. The bracelet stuff was better. I was way more into this when, like, they were fighting over this bracelet. Like, oh God, we've got to wrestling. It's all about the blood feud. Range. It's like the match is gonna kick ass, right? But like I say that about every AEW pay-per-view. Like, I was more invested when it was like, you've got that thing, you know, it means a lot to me. Stop it. No, like, it was nasty and it was snarky and it was cynical. This is like, I'm gonna kill you. All I'm saying is you're the one in a box. Like, you're not going to kill each other. You're going to have another match.
Bit of blood this time.
Bit of blood this time.
Bit of claret.
Quick one, because he looked amazing. And obviously, if Drew started the conversation with, "I wear a black suit, I'm the devil," I was like, well, I'll wear all white then in the contrast. Or is it time for Sidgwick's Conspiracy Corner? And was Punk told, bring your whites, mate, because the WhatCulture lads reckon that you should bleed a gusher on the go home, and we think that's a brilliant idea. And then he gets to work, and Paul's like, here's the thing, Punker, not doing that anymore. I've come dressed like a f***ing butcher. Like, the contrast was nice in Hell in a Cell, but man knows what he's doing typically when there's blood to be shed.
Yeah, maybe.
Pearce says there's going to be no physicality, but everyone's going to have their final say, basically. And out comes Punk and Drew. As you mentioned, Punk's in all white pants. McIntyre's wearing an all black tuxedo whilst Punk does the thing. McIntyre says he wore a tuxedo out of respect.
CM Punk is brilliant at this.
He's boring now.
Everything he does is awesome.
Apart from the last sort of about half of this program.
Everything he's done in this last 12 months.
Program.
Like,
you didn't even like this dickhead.
And yet, like, when he did that, I was like, yes.
When he did that, I was like, oh God, I used to like you in 2011.
Oh, man. This run now,
it's pretty poor.
October, goated. Like, this money.
It's not that good, really. It's not that good.
This money run, second place, feud of the year. I will accept second place.
Andrade and Mello, number one, baby.
Oh,
he's going to go on the internet and have this fight this year as a shoot.
I love that. I'm not being funny, right? And I don't even want to be. I'm hot and cold with AEW. Yeah. I don't really want to defend it. You see matches within that broad style significantly better bi-weekly, fortnightly.
Good point. It's Rock and Cody. He's really taken my argument apart. It's Rock and Cody, feud of the year. Thank you very much.
Is that until we
How many documentaries of Swerve and Hangman about him? Oh, 0. Right. Anyway, Punk's out there, McIntyre's out there. McIntyre, I'm wearing a tuxedo out of respect, not for you, for your wife. She's going to have to bathe in feed. She'll probably leave you, actually, Punk. It's also a celebration. You're going to be gone. You're not coming back. You've been back less than a year. You've been injured for 4 months.
It's like a teenager slamming a door in his parents' face. So, 0.
Punk will be gone forever.
I don't even like feuds that much. They've all been a bit rubbish for me. I like Cody Rock. Really like Cody Rock.
After everything that's been presented to the fans, you still champ for Punk.
I don't like feuds. Sorry, I'm just letting that one sink in. I don't like feuds.
They're not been good this year. Across the board, really.
This has been absolutely goated. This
has been really all over the shop.
Rock and Cody's been class.
Rock and Cody was great. This has been absolutely all over the shop, and it's gone on way too long. It's peaked.
It's peaked.
Yeah, because it's gone on literally, by extension of that argument, logically, it's gone on too long.
How can you say it's peaked before you get to the match on Saturday?
Because it's peaked.
Sage, the match is going to happen on Saturday, and a bunch of people are going to be like, All right, actually, CM Punk's really good. Twist, because it always happens with Punk, always.
Except it didn't happen at SummerSlam, did it?
It did for me.
Did for me.
Subjective. I like the bracelet.
It's subjective. I can say whatever I want. So what are we doing?
It's good, that, isn't it?
Honestly, the week before SummerSlam, I was like, this. I told you when I was in Menorca when SummerSlam was on, and I was like, "Bro, get in! I don't have to even care about wrestling, especially the Fed for a week." And I was like, "I have to watch this. I have to make time for the half an hour to watch this."
It's like the whole show. It was one of the best peer leads of the year, wasn't it? SummerSlam.
I loved SummerSlam.
Brilliant.
And Drew Punk was a disaster.
He was just a bit tired. The rest of it was good. He was a bit worn out. I didn't like seeing that. I was like,
It was a piss poor match.
my breathing's so heavy, Phil. But otherwise, I thought it was great. Like but then this is it. I like the bracelet stuff more than this. I believe it more.
I don't believe this. That's my problem.
I
don't believe this.
There's going to be bloodshed. I think the match will be terrific, but they're just saying big.
Devil.
I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill you.
They've been ready to go for a long time. I'll give you that. Yeah.
It's peaked. Thank you for supporting my argument.
Polish this up and make a tweet out of it, and then I'll fall in love with it.
Okay. Roxanne Perez worshipped Punk, but realised what the kind of person he was after spending a few days with him, says McIntyre. Eventually, the fans are going to have to look in the mirror and realise who the idiots are. Punk hates McIntyre. McIntyre hates Punk. Punk taught McIntyre how to hate, and he didn't have time for hate in his life. Hate was a powerful weapon if you use it correctly, but it was dangerous if it stayed with you long term. But thankfully, that hate's going to die with CM Punk. Punk says, I've been called a lot of things throughout my career, and one of them is, of course, voice of the voiceless. And he's voiceless tonight because he's got nothing to say to a piece of garbage like Drew McIntyre, except that he's filled with so much rage when he looks at him. He's been staying in a hotel for 4 weeks because he didn't want to subject his wife to the man that all this has turned him into. Called McIntyre a son of a bitch who turned him into the fictitious boogeyman that his harshest critics...
Get over it, crickets!
It's harsh as crickets.
have accused him of being.
Hear them outside the window. Be quiet, you.
I think it's
harshest crickets.
I think it's harshest crickets on the back end of that collision run.
It's harshest crickets were there, SummerSlam 2024, actually.
This is exactly the kind of man he needs to be on Saturday to send McIntyre home to Scotland in a box. He reminded Drew that he prayed for this.
It's just like your scraps.
When he's on his hands and knees begging, he's going to look up at Punk, who's going to wipe
like
the blood out of his eyes so he can see him. He's not praying to God or the devil. You're going to be praying to CM Punk. I'll see you in hell.
You go first. You go first on the third, and I go first on dub. That's how we do things. Sorry, stepping on your dick.
It's fine. It's just fine. Like they've done a good job of, I think,
Feud of the year. They've done a good job
of keeping this going from the peak until they find a new peak on Saturday when this match is going to kick ass.
Main event.
I think the match will be excellent.
I don't give a and I keep seeing this debate like it matters. It doesn't. Like I want them to go in the middle and steal the show from there. Punk and MJF did. What was the Revolution main event?
Adam Cole, Hangman Page.
Christ, not even a comparison. Like that was the Punk MJF show. Like, and they could do that again with a Bloodline match if they wanted to. It's an interesting conversation because of Punk's previous and what happens in locker rooms. But otherwise, like, I don't know why people are getting so het up about it. The match is massive.
I think they will main event. By the
Bloodline. I kind of want the Bloodline match to go on last. I think it suits the last match slot more than this.
I think Bloodline opens.
Yeah, could do that as well.
Have you got? What's the closest button to a siren on the soundboard?
Ooh.
Or like something that's a big alert.
Alert! The fair's on fire.
Yeah. Guys, it's time to press the CM Punk is full of shit alarm. Because these might just be stories in the dirt sheets and, they don't know what's going on. Okay? Who knows? But I've been reading reports and aggregations that there is a political battle unfolding between CM Punk and Roman Reigns and the camps and all the rest of it about who gets to go on last. And, they don't know yet, and there's kind of pressure. This could all be bull hooky. A lot of bull guys. A lot of bull. Who knows? Maybe the dirt sheets are just making that stuff up again. But, if you believe certain reports from Observer and all the rest of it, like, who gets to go on last? People are desperate to go on last, right? Is it going to be Sulu Sikoa and Jacob Fatu against The Rock, Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes, or is it going to be the Hell in a Cell match? Hang on, Mr. Punk. I thought it didn't matter because you said headlining WrestleMania was a big thing, and then he got over it. It doesn't really matter who goes on last. Or does it?
I believe there's a political battle. It's a fascinating one.
I thought it didn't matter, though. That's what I've been led to believe.
When did he say that?
It's a couple of years ago on Twitter or something.
I see. He's probably just lying, isn't he?
Yeah.
Why are you getting so worked by a wrestler being a work message? You ever watched it?
Because he speaks truth to power. He speaks truth to power.
Oh dear, feels like more PDS coming from that side of the room.
The gimmick was he's the truth teller, isn't he? He's the one guy who isn't a carny. He's the one guy who knows what's up. He's the voice of the voiceless. And
you started your sentence with gimmick. You were correct. It's a gimmick.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's just fine. Blood feed, whatever. Like,
blood feed or whatever.
Yeah.
Say some words like evil and devil or whatever. Look at it or whatever. I tell you what. I don't really believe a word that's coming out of their mouths anymore. I really, really don't.
I hate you, Punk. I don't think you do anymore. I think you've enjoyed this elevation experience of working with the top star. It's been good for you.
Indeed. I don't believe that they hate one another. I don't get any animosity. It's just words. For me, it is just words. And it's the ones that sound good in the sound bites in the video package. There was a certain formal register to the way this was all orated and performed, and even like the little outfits that they wore. It was very synthetic and wordy, and I didn't feel much personally, subjectively, I didn't feel any hatred. I did at one point. I thought that, right, okay, I can imagine Drew hates Punk. That's the kind of magic of CM Punk. Ooh, that sounds like Punk derangement syndrome. We just called him magic. No, because magic's actually good, Hamflet.
Yeah, and I don't like magic, so that wouldn't make sense.
The magic of CM Punk is that you can genuinely believe that virtually all of his opponents, if they can eat, at best can tolerate him. At best, right? At worst, genuinely think he's an arsehole. Or somewhere in between, it's like, oh, I can't work with him. He's good, but I begrudge how good he is, sort of thing. You can always believe from the other side that people hate CM Punk or can just barely stand him. I'm with you. Like, Drew's probably really enjoying this chapter in his professional career. I believed it at first when Punk was like, oh, don't reference Jerry Maguire, you stupid dickhead. In that segment on Raw, I really believed the disdain.
You complete me. Off.
Yeah, I really believed that disdain once upon a time, and I thought Drew was way more dialed in about 2 or 3 months ago, and I just feel like it's motions. They're going through some motions now. It's not Punk Kingston on Rampage, is it?
No, it's been that, but it's not.
Not as good.
It's been that, but it's hard because you got stressed out over 9-10 incredible electric months.
I'm really looking forward to Saturday.
Me too.
I'm really looking forward to NXT, mate.
Oh, God, me too.
Get me started. You want to do it now? Should we just do the NXT preview now?
Chicago. C-Dub. Where my C-Dubs at? C-Dub.
Oh, more Punk as well.
Yeah. You've been living in a hotel. Where's the hotel? Orlando, Florida, because I've seen an NXT every week.
Yes,
actually, he did a bit of social media activity from Punk that did, for the first time, make me feel like he was trying to chase me away. Backstage last week with like Larry in a pushchair. I do not like it when people humanise / infantilise their dogs. And he was like, yeah, I've turned up at Raw. Larry's in a pushchair. Like, get a real kid if you want to be a dad that much.
Gatly Gelly.
Is other advice? Never mind.
Gatly Gelly. Interview.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Braun Strowman.
Do what you like with your dogs and that. I just think it's weird. It's pushchairs are for people.
That Monica are friends.
Why? What's the thing with dogs?
No, she's like, what's her pet peeve? Is that animals dressed as people?
Oh, yeah.
But like that,
lots of things are for people and not for animals. Why do we do this? Animals belong in nature, savaging each other on Twitter. Like...
Kathy Kelly interviews Braun Strowman, asked if he's feeling trepidatious. He said he didn't know what it meant, but he's not nervous. He showed the world he was the monster of monsters when he won tonight. Miz approached him to have a word about their match. And then in comes R-Truth, who's back. Strowman's surprised to see him after 5 tsunamis. Truth says he doesn't remember it. Strowman leaves to go get ready. And Miz asks Truth what he's doing. And Truth says, I work here. I also didn't like the way Karrion Kross was speaking to you, so I got us a match against A-Up. He meant authors of pain.
Stop laughing at R-Truth.
Sorry. I was waiting for him to do the A-Up bit, and I was just...
A-Up.
It's all the build-up. The turn's piss funny when we get there, by the way.
Oh, God, it was so bad.
Justin Miserable.
Sami Zayn also gets interviewed. He's not bothered necessarily by Gunther's rejections, but by the disrespect. I think he'd be used to it, but it does bother him. Doesn't like saying Gunther here and saying it wasn't on his level. He's not losing sleep over it though, because he knows how good he is. He's good enough to become world champion. Gunther can keep running and ducking his challenges, but Zayn's not going to go away that easily. He's not going to stop until he gets his shots. More on that in a bit. Then we got Street Trash, Dom, Carlito, JD McDonough versus the LWO, represented by Joaquin Wilde, Cruz del Toro, and Dragon Lee. Nice spot early on to take us to a break where they all do a move off the turnbuckle with Wilde hitting a 450 in there. We come back, Wilde hits a DDT and dives over Lee for the tag to clean house. Lee's slingshot dropping in the corner, knocks over Carlito. All the baddies are in a big pile. Coast to coast from dropkick from Del Toro and a big dive to the floor. Wilde goes up top, but Liv Morgan jumps up on the apron to distract the referee, and Wilde freezes. And here comes Balor. He shoves Wilde off the top. McDonough hits him with the devil inside and gets the 1-2-3.
Just a bit passionless, wasn't it? Like, yeah, just not really. Like, they've done the dance enough times, and it doesn't really matter even that the heels are cheating to win, because again, like, the Judgment Day matches are really well set for Bad Blood, but like, this doesn't feel like it's been a welcome addition or a diversion or anything. And it wasn't the match. I used the example the other week. I can only watch this match if it dares to be as good as the United Empire Okada Young Bucks deal from Dynamite the other week, or even the tag team main event from last week, and it's not even close. Yeah. And that's not a WWE AEW thing. It's just, well, you're both on mainstream television.
And he likes WWE more.
What are we doing if we're not doing that?
Yeah.
Don't do it. Do something else.
What are we doing if we're not doing that? I have pretty much identical takes. I can't really deal with this style and genre if it's not like perfected, double goated like it often is on Dynamite. It felt like the exact match they have in the house shows to pop the punters.
Yeah.
Some nice dives in there from Joaquin Wilde yet again. But your Judgment Day are in the ring.
I'm going to start calling you the last word. Adam, the last word. Let's go with actually moving on.
I'm just a big fan of Joaquin Wilde. We love his.
I don't think the dive was that good this week, actually, comparatively.
I suppose it's a very, very, ironically, very high bar that he sets.
It's a broadcast professional.
Just have like a section in the match. Here comes Dragon Lee's move. This is what I'm doing with that. Tune in for next week's Dragon Lee's move.
Balor cuts a promo saying a Damian Priest threatened to rip out his heart, but surprise, he hasn't got a heart. Good luck.
Good luck, Damian.
He's going to prove that Priest is actually the one who needed them. Judgment Day never needed him. Morgan says, I'm going to prove I'm a home-wrecking, man-stealing, heart-breaking, title-taking, greatest women's champion of all time. Then Rhea Ripley interrupts and brings out a shark cage. She says, I know you're dirty.
Golden. It's frosting over. That was my big thing there.
She knows all of Dom's dirty secrets, including that he's incredibly claustrophobic. He's going to be locked inside the shark cage, crying and soiling himself and cleaning himself up with his new merchandise. And he's going to have the best seat in the house to watch his girlfriend realise she's not as good as Rhea.
Not really, the sightlines aren't very good. You ever been at the Barclays Centre? I don't like being too steep.
It's high up the top, isn't it?
Yeah. MSG, absolutely. MSG, greater than sign. Barclays Centre.
Yeah, I've seen enough. The lower ball's good, the Barclays, but then it...
Oh, fancy lower ball man over here. Try getting a front row seat, Mr. Siggy.
Hey, Porpoise.
Priest appears in the ring.
I take over New York with someone else, isn't it?
Yeah.
Woke me from literally the dead.
God.
You awake like 36 hours or something.
5 years later. 5 years later, it's even better.
Priest
hasn't aged a bit.
Attacks the Judgment Day. Chucks Carlito and McDonough out of there. Goes after Balor. Ripley grabs Morgan and Dom, chucks him into the barricade, chucks Dom into the cage. Morgan tries to help, but then realizes Ripley's going to catch her and runs away. And Ripley's about to lock Dom in the cage, but Morgan sneak attacks her then and beats her down, and the numbers catch up to Damian Priest in the ring. Balor hits him with a sling blade, and they hold him in place as he hits a drop kick and 3 straight coup de grace. Balor stands tall.
Yeah, I think it speaks to the massive upturn over the years in quality of WWE that I watched this, and it was like, yeah, it's hot, it's good, it's fine, characters are ready. once upon a time this would be the WWE Angle of the Year. Do you know what I mean? And it was just like, well, how about 6 of these? They're always hot. The babyfaces are mega over. Both matches are going to be class, PLE, or like a version of class, because if you're into the characters, I suppose Finn and Damien could be really boring otherwise. But like,
and it will be.
You know what I mean? But like the last 2-3 minutes might be hot as out. But nothing that had this like excel past the other great weeks I've had, you know?
I'm going to do a preemptive hands up. Because I assume I'm not going to do much pre-PLE coverage. You know what? AJ Styles proved earlier this year that when he fancies it, he can still go. Maybe Finn Balor fancies it. He wants to do something for Damien, who they, in all likelihood, struck up a really cool personal relationship.
Yeah, so. They've really helped get each other over.
Yeah.
Sheamus cuts a promo on Pete Dunne, who he called Butch and a loser weight. And he said, let's have...
Loser weight's better than bitch, isn't it?
Yeah.
He said, let's have one final banger. Good old-fashioned Donnybrook match.
I'd make it entertaining.
Yeah.
Give it, like, our big problem, and I'm stepping on the dick of the preview, but I don't care, is, it's a bit wrestling this on the sports entertainment show, and that's pretty cool for me, but the crowds aren't really that into it. And on otherwise hot nights, i.e. not last night, sports entertainmentify this program. What am I doing with my voice and stuff? And it'll be good.
Yeah.
It shall be good. Reverend Dub has spoken. It shall be good.
As a nice tribute to Pete Rose. And then we get a promo from Io Sky and Kyrie saying...
Can I say Pete Rose, I thought was incredible back in the day.
Yeah.
You know, all this talk about how am I meant to know who he is? And I know I hate even talking indirectly about those people. I had no clue who he was because I watched real sports that are played worldwide at a high level. Football, soccer. I was told in passing virtually who Pete Rose was.
Yep.
And I thought he was magic.
I know nothing of
magic
baseball,
in the role
of Boston. I didn't know then of the Curse of the Bambino, which I would learn about as a result because it encouraged me to learn more.
Yeah.
I wanted to give tickets to Bill Buckner, but he couldn't bend over to pick him up. I was like, well,
I was 13 by the way.
The crowd are raging. And
I was 13 years old when I inferred who he was.
Why can't Bill Buckner pick him up? I'm going to go and find out why this is because that Joker's just torn it up at WrestleMania. You know, like you've just baby-faced Kane before he like
it's the most I've ever liked Kane.
Yeah,
it made no sense for them to do that. Really, it was just funny.
His delivery was great, wasn't it? He was a real asshole.
Yeah.
And then Io and Kyrie cut a promo challenging Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill to a tag title match. They said the Damage Control haven't been the same since they lost the titles. They need them back. And Sky says she's in Bianca's head after beating her. She's going to live in there rent-free, and then they're going to win the tag titles back.
I haven't had a rent-free for a while, have we? It went away. Because everyone got starving, so they weren't paying rent anymore. They were buying food.
And then it was time for Chad Gable versus Kofi Kingston. Chad Gable like Goldberg himself on the way to the ring. What happened there?
I don't know.
He looked up and he's suddenly bleeding from the floor and the match has only just started.
It's just like American Made psych themselves up and somehow like punched himself.
I don't know what was going on there. Maybe,
and when AJ Styles banged his head on the set to WrestleMania.
You freak. Oh my God, you fricker.
like my song says, I don't want none.
Oh, mother fricker. Freak. Oh, holy frick. Freak, that hurt. AJ frickin' Styles. Give it up, you pieces of frick. It's AJ Styles.
Gosh darn it, we don't be speaking about my Jesus. I bought the Jaguar. It's the amount of times wrestlers have revealed something horrendous in a hotel room with AJ Styles, it was a Jaguar.
I bought the Jaguar. I repeatedly said the slur.
I got his Xbox for the plane. I don't know why we don't just run along the line to these countries. Why we need to fly? Can we just drive it? We're working in England. I just want to drive there.
I went on a bullet train in Japan. One to the end, one to the other end. Lines.
That's a world that makes sense to AJ Styles.
I have to be hooting around on these these goddamn security checks.
They told me Backlash France was the other side of the world, and how come I was not upside down wrestling Cody?
I was on my feet actually.
They got gravity over there.
What's gravity? Bye, AJ.
Gable hit a German suplex outside the ring before the break and a diving headbutt afterwards. They exchanged cradles. Gable hit a cliffhanger DDT for 2. Gets Kingston in an ankle lock, but Kingston counters into a cradle for 2. Gable blocks Trouble in Paradise and puts him in another ankle lock, but Kingston counters again, hits an SOS, but Gable gets a rope break, and Gable leaves the ring. So Kingston gets into it with Gable and the Creeds, and Woods jumps in and attacks Julius Creed. What do you think Brutus Creed would say if he saw the New Day playing with their action figures?
Nerds!
Sidge wakes up and he's like, I'm devastated to read about Ilya Dragunov's injury, but I get 9 months off doing something that stretches my vocal cords. Enter Brutus Creed.
I prefer the Brutus Creed thing.
I can't wait till he needs back.
Ivy now distracts the referee, but Woods uses this as an opportunity to trip Gable as he hits the ropes, but in doing so stops Gable's momentum from running into a Trouble in Paradise that Kofi tried to hit, and therefore Gable hits Kingston with the Chaos Theory and gets the 1-2-3.
Nice thought into how you, again, arrive at a finish where Xavier Woods appears to be trying to help. He screws up because the whole thing was, I'll let you be the boss of the New Day. You quarterback it. All right, then. And he's done it, and he's
QB
failed in the role, so it's not just about the heel.
Xavier in the pocket.
Xavier in the pocket. Yep, that match was a match.
Match was a match. There was some decent bits of struggle here, whether they kind of were actually struggling or otherwise, worked or otherwise. I had a nice old time with this.
Yeah.
It was decent.
I loved it. Yeah.
Finish was
really
good.
Like that finish.
Well thought through.
We see wrestlers at the football over the weekend. I was getting concerned about the amount of times they were just showing Seth Rollins having a lovely time going, shouldn't he be back wrestling then? But yeah, we see him here at the Ravens game. I think it was Drew and Liv Morgan with the Carlts. Go Carlts! They actually won. Get in. And Sheamus was at Notre Dame.
AJ Styles can't share his allegiances with football in WWE. You know why? Do you know why? I support the Jaguars.
I support the Jaguars.
Jackie,
He might. No, he's Georgia, isn't he?
Yeah. Jacksonville, Florida. Oh, yeah. I see. It could be like Southern City. Who's the team in Georgia?
Atlanta
Falcons.
Falcons. Yeah.
Jackie Redmond interviews Bronson Reed. He says, I don't care about Seth Rollins returning. I took months off his career. Next time I'll take years off his life. I'll expose Strowman as a man because I'm the last monster standing.
Right.
More Wyatt Six stuff. We see your intent.
Nice.
We see your intent, anger festering into rage. Do not go down this path. It ends in your demise. You know better. Do not force our hand. Heed our admonition.
Is this Xavier Woods?
Someone was in the background for something
I don't know. I haven't done any of the
later. I can't remember.
sleuthing at all.
Do the poem again. What was it? What?
Just bloody Wyatt's poem or whatever.
James coming home from school. Dad, I've got to do the poem again. James, come on. We see your intent, anger festering into rage. Do not go down this path. It ends in your demise. You know better. Do not force our hand. Heed our admonition.
There's a bit of lore here. Remember when
Xavier
Woods was the one who used to be able to get hypnotised by the original Wyatt powers when they were doing
pro.
This. Yeah, so might be that. Don't know.
He's like, is anyone else not scared by these dudes? I am.
Yeah.
Bad news next, Sidge. Something I suppose the man himself would describe as not very
Entertaining.
Ilya Dragunov. No, I shouldn't make a joke of this. He's torn his ACL.
You should trivialise a potentially devastating injury.
He's torn his ACL against Gunther over the weekend. He's out for 6 to 9 months, which sucks.
Yeah,
It does suck.
Like perfect return fodder with Gunther and stuff, but probably going to miss WrestleMania, and that stinks. Ilya's had a great year.
Yeah,
Very good, yeah. I wouldn't say great. That's a third round. Tony Khan here, guys.
but yeah.
I don't know. I'd classify that match with Tony D as great. Stuff he was doing in NXT, even
Would be
pre-Raw.
one slight change I'd suggest to that match, but other than that, a really popular return to the main roster on the Raw after WrestleMania for most people. Didn't need the title though if he was going to go to the main roster. Put it on Trick, I suppose. It's quite popular as well. I'll give you that.
You talking?
I don't know, sorry. Oh, you want me doing it? Gunther comes out. He loves every aspect of being a world champion. Being a top guy, the money, the luxuries, the amenities.
I thought he said manatees. like Troy McClure sort of deal here.
One thing he hates right now is having to deal with bloody Sami Zayn. Zayn comes out, he says, if I'm so annoying, there's one way to put an end to it. Put your title on the line. Tell the world why you're not going to do it, Gunther. And Gunther says, because you're not on my level. Beat you at WrestleMania, though, says Zayn. You beat former champions, you beat Hall of Famers, but it was me who pinned you. Gunther thought he was so much better than Zayn. The result drove him crazy. He was scared it would happen again. He gets called a coward. He says, Gunther, I am afraid, I admit it. I'm not afraid of you, though. I'm afraid for my reputation. Losing to a better man is no problem, but losing to you was the biggest embarrassment of my career. You know, you talked about your family being there at WrestleMania. Well, I was so confident I'd win at Mania, I flew mine out there. And I said, look my dad in the eye, who I flew from Vienna to Philly just to watch me lose to that bum Sami Zayn. I don't expect you to understand because my family's, your family, Sammy, is used to seeing you fail. My family expects everything from me. I'm the golden goose of my family. I'm special. I'm something you'll never be, the world heavyweight champion. Zayn says, yes, I do lose a lot in front of my family, but I pull myself up, keep moving forward. You crumbled after you lost. You never even asked for a rematch.
He's the world champion.
You disappeared because you couldn't show your face. Or because
he's the world champion.
Or because your dad made you feel like a loser. Now you're showing your daddy you're also a coward. And he snaps and clotheslines Sami Zayn, beats him up. Sami, though, gets him with an exploder, sets up for a Helluva kick, but Gunther catches him with a sleeper and hits him with a huge powerbomb and says, want a bare knuckle fight? Let's have a title match next week. Let's go.
This is why the Fed's so good and we should live and love every Raw as if it's our last. Like, I was wanting there to be a credible reason why we actually got to the match other than Post and Pierce saying, oh, we're doing it. And we got it. And it wasn't, and it's right back where we started that week when Sami Zayn first came out and I went, like post Randy Orton. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he does have this hanging over him and we wouldn't have considered that and this is going to be really cool. But the inclusion of this entire new, I keep talking about show Bibles and characters and all that sort of stuff. This whole new thing that you've just opened up about Gunther, of what's previously made him so arrogant about his upbringing and how he was like, no, I was built to be this guy. I'm this wrestling machine who can beat anybody. I've got the head for it. Like, I've got the heart for it, but I don't rely on that. It's all up here. You've got some issues there with your dad and you've been negged into a lot of this and you already have this difficult relationship with him and you were made to feel even worse by this man. And that is the thing you're running away from. It's not the match against Sami Zayn. It's that emotional response to your loss, which I know Sidge is going to pick on because he already has done a little bit. But he did go hiding from, he didn't want his rematch. He did advance beyond it. He picked himself back up and he won the King of the Ring. But he didn't immediately say, Sammy, I want another go at this. That was a fluke. There was none of that sort of stuff. And you can easily buy that devastating chat with the dad that he thought he was finally going to impress. Like, now this title run can be framed around that. It's like, we've learned a little bit about Gunther there. And the idea of, you bring your family out because you wear your heart on your sleeve, that's weak. Like, that's not my fault that your family are out there watching.
He has talked on the subject about his family before on the Damian Priest program.
It's like class shaming him, wasn't he?
Yeah, so it is becoming like a trait.
You're building like a little picture of Gunther's backstory and stuff. And to have it as a direct contrast to like, you bringing your wife and your kids out there, that's weakness to me. My dad politely stays backstage and scolds me when I fail. Like, the contrast, again, tremendous. And that's how we arrive at the match. Like, the exact sort of surprise creative way to get the match. I was really, really happy with this. I can't wait for the match as well.
Nothing to add or say other than genuinely an incredibly stellar bit of analysis from Hamflet there.
Thank you very much.
That has enriched my appreciation of a segment that I was a little bit snarky about. So
work. Then it was time for Awesome Truth versus A-Up.
That's kind of like, I look a bit like Gunther. That's Gunther and his dad now. Thanks, Dad. It's like our WrestleMania moment together.
You're all right, son.
Truth starts the match, but gets dominated. Karrion Kross is yelling at Miz from the floor.
He was in it tonight. He was locked in.
Yeah, he was locked in. Locked in.
In the end, after he gets double teamed for a bit, Truth manages to low bridge Akam to the floor, tags in Miz, come on, let's go, and he just kicks Truth right in the face and walks out. Karrion Kross is ecstatic at this, and A-Up hit Truth with their finish and get the win.
It's piss funny all this, isn't it? Like, R-Truth was so over earlier this year. Absolutely the right call to give them the nice WrestleMania moment. But he's not now, and that's The life of R-Truth. Sometimes he does a bit and he gets over. And they've tried to do him his heel turn off the back of like cold 2024 R-Truth and like this kick that looked terrible. Yeah. This kick looked rubbish, didn't it? He was so pleased with himself. He's like, why have you left a t-shirt on? Oh, so you can throw away. I love the Miz and he sucks.
He's so bad. That was one of the... It's the worst beat down, or it's not really a beat down. It was like, I think it was meant to just shock him rather than beat him up. They're going to build the fact that he's going to, it's going to look pitiful, but at some point he's going to kick his ass or try to. At least land one shot. This is pathetic. Pathetic.
He's got to stand there looking really pleased with himself.
Yeah.
I performed this term perfectly. So confident.
What's he going to be like as a heel, though?
Karrion Kross's face of joy was just tremendous. Genuinely tremendous. A cat in a sanctuary room. He was locked in. I've just become a cat dad, so that's why it's relevant to me now.
What a week for him. It's all coming together.
That's it. The only thing that would have made any of this better for us would be if like somehow like R-Truth beat AOP with a roll-up, but Karrion Kross is also celebrating now. The real quiz is, yet again, I've forced this event that results in us losing.
But obviously, with all that corruption, I can only think of one thing, Sid, and that is, of course,
Rory gives me the creeps.
tough one today. Hit it with you on the preview yesterday to test your noggin and give you the answer now. Gents, what is 3/7 chicken, 2/3 cat, and half goat?
Chicago.
Very good. Very good.
Thank you.
Write it down if you're unaware. Topical as well, because
Nicholas has just been. Because Nicholas has
just been.
Handsome producers just been
Yes.
to Chicago.
Oh, me too. I've had it tonight. Jesus Christ.
Brilliant, wasn't it?
And the
Do you want
all
to see any of the city?
state.
No, thank you.
Straight to the All-State.
Straight to the alls I'm saying state. That's probably my professional peak of the year, that.
Kathy Kelly tries interviewing Gunther and Ludwig Kaiser, but they're interrupted by Braun Breaker. He just says he wants to see it up close. I wasn't sure if he meant Gunther or the world title. I assumed he meant the world title. And Gunther says,
please.
check it out, he's a badass. And Braun says, you'll find out yourself pretty soon.
Oh my God.
You ever have just those weeks, even though you see it all the time now? Gunther's a really amazing sports entertainer, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's so good at it. He deserves it. It's not just, can you believe this has gone right? Yeah. God, he's good. He's such an arsehole caricature heel. He's brilliant.
It's great.
Woods and Kofi were arguing in the background as well. Woods fights for the IC title next week. Gunther, Sammy, World Heavyweight Championship, and the good old-fashioned Donnybrook match as well.
Are we going to fit all that in?
2 hours. Cramming it in.
Too much wrestling for
Monday
you.
Night Rammed.
That match graphic lineup to time duration ratio for you is scary, isn't it?
Yeah, where's the old skits and bits guys?
The old skitskis.
I love the world title match. Glad it's on Raw. People need to stop being losers about pay-per-views. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? Like,
Shorter the better for me.
TV's just as valuable as...
Going to Crown Jewel.
Yeah, and probably.
Probably,
Like, TV's just as valuable as PLE
on
time
Raw.
anyway.
It's on Raw.
No, but as in, I think this... And then they're going to run it back at Crown Jewel.
Maybe.
I don't get the
Shorter the better.
arguments anymore.
Less is more.
Yeah. Both are valuable as well. It's the first Raw of this like little 2 hour area. They want a big show. Everything's got its own value. I don't see why.
Less is more.
Main event time, last monster standing, Braun Strowman versus Bronson Reed. We go to a break very early on after Strowman chokeslams Reed through the announce table. That's not going to put him down for 10. When we come back, the chairs are set up outside the ring, and Strowman runs and knocks Reed off the apron through the chairs.
What was like? There was an ad break.
Yeah.
And then you come back and it's like, and your legs don't work like they used to before.
To trivialise, the guy's in agony, obviously.
Is he all right? Like,
obviously not.
Just like, but he was
Go for double endoscopic surgery.
He was like fine when he walked out, wasn't he? Like, have I missed
that way?
Have I missed this in the last few weeks? So they've been doing these segments to hide the fact that he's like.
He's a dickhead, you two.
No, just like I'm sure I saw him run last week.
He's gonna have probably maybe two ACLs, or like he might need knee replacement. How you could capture how gutsy the performance was and how bad that news is. Just quote Ed Sheeran. Just do that. Why not?
Pop the boys, isn't it?
They fight on some equipment boxes on the outside, and Reed DVDs him through some tables. After another break, Reed tackles Braun through a barricade, but he gets up. Then tackles him through another barricade and kills some fans. Officials run out to check on them. And amongst all this, Reed gets Strowman back in the ring, hits him with a tsunami, but the ref's distracted. Hits another one. Ref's still not there. He's pissed off. He goes to the outside, tries to get him involved. Postman Pierce steps up, confronts Bronson Reed. So Bronson Reed's going to kill him instead. Security gets involved, and they all just happen to huddle together so Braun Strowman can jump off the top and take out everyone with a splash.
Oh my God.
That spot. Like that this morning watching it.
3 seconds too long.
They both get up before 10. Strowman goes up top, but Reed just chucks a chair at his head. And Reed hits a superplex, and they break the ring. The posts explode, and the crowd chants, "Holy sh!" And in amongst them trying to get up.
Holy smokes. That's AJ Styles doing it.
In amongst all this, Bronson Reed
Holy smokes.
trying to get up. There's
Holy
steel
smokes.
steps in the ring, and he's crawling up
holy smokes.
crawling up the steel steps to get up. But Seth Rollins appears. He's back. He stomps his head against the steps, and Bronson Reed stays down for the 10 count. Braun Strowman is the last monster standing.
I love seeing the Seth back, genuinely. I was like, I'm happy to see you.
Sorry, 1 second. Seth Rollins comes back. It wasn't play this time, but you know.
No, but people were singing it. Like
Indeed
after
they
he
were.
ran in, people singing that.
But yeah, tell us more about the Sether.
Yeah, really pleased to see him back, genuinely. Like Sid just mentioned before about how you believe that wrestlers are very good at playing off CM Punk. Seth's one of the best, and now he's back around. We're going to do the Bronson Reed thing, then at some point we're going to get them. That's pretty cool. The best thing about this entire FUED has been, we've talked about this a million times, it is actually quite hard to manufacture chaos in wrestling that feels like genuine chaos. There's nothing worse than when it feels fake. This was the weakest chapter of a really fun, chaotic feud, realistically. I don't know if that was, maybe Braun's injury did play a part. Like, I'm sympathetic to these sort of things. But the finish was good, genuinely. The finish was exciting, and I didn't expect Braun Strowman to win. Bronson Reed has gotten over, even though he didn't go over. Like, this Seth thing is probably a bigger test for him than the Braun Strowman stuff, because they've just been able to run into each other and kill one another with objects. Can he get over in a wrestling context against Seth? We'll see. But they've done everything to try and make it work and try and make a star.
I mean, it's one of those where, understandably, not as hot as the angles. Looking at the state of Strowman's knees, I don't know if this recent uptick in like ridiculous physical activity has compounded something that he's always had, and looking at his frame, going to have. I said it from the start. Last man standing wasn't it? Is the stip? They should have done falls count anywhere. I mean, considering it's cinema, I don't think fans would have had a problem watching a lot of it on the screen before it broke out into the ring. It would have got a huge pop. It was just the chemistry is in that sort of, he's back up in 3 seconds. I thought it was the wrong stip. It was pun first. Hamflet probably enjoyed that.
I did like that.
I just didn't have that sense of wonder and thrill, and they're doing... They got up and they're doing something else. It just completely lacked that. And then I'll tell you what, the ring collapse spot stunk as well.
I just wouldn't have put it as the big climax. I think you should have done it at the opener.
Yeah, I mean...
Create the sense of...
Oh, you in the match, you mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the actual execution of... I knew it was coming, but I didn't care if it's good, it's good. Whether you can see it coming or not, they've done it much better in the past. When it looks like it's like at a diagonal almost. Just
when the referee tries to reach for the ropes that aren't there anymore.
Yeah, it just looked like it didn't look like a ring collapse. It looked like the turnbuckles are just gone.
You'd love it in the building, wouldn't you? Because that's what that stuff's for.
Yeah.
But it's...
How about sometimes looks good on telly, and just this one didn't?
So very excited to see Seth Rollins back, like you say.
Yeah, I think he's like quite a remarkable performer considering how much he allows to happen to him as a nearly top guy. I've become accustomed to Seth Rollins' face. Like I remain intrigued by him in spite of myself.
Has he become
Seth
quite
Rollins.
dear to you?
Yeah, he has. Yeah, something about how selfless he was around WrestleMania season to be able to escape out of it unscathed. I was like, wow, you're a bit of a survivor in this system, and you're a big deal as a result.
But let us know your thoughts on everything we discussed in the comment section below or on X at WhatCultureWWE. Watch there, you can follow all three of us. You can follow Michael Hamflet at
Michael Hampton.
Follow Michael Sidgwick at
Emma Sidgwick.
Follow me at Adam Wilborn. Follow our brilliant producer at It's Adam Nicholas. Follow us all at WhatCultureWWE. As I said, make sure you subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling wherever you get your podcasts from. The NXT preview later on today. But for now, this has been the Raw Review. My thanks to Hamflet Sidgwick. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you soon.